Good morning. Good morning. So today we play. Today we play with the idea of money. And we play with what it means to live generously. What it means to play and to live the fullness of who we are. So, are we in?
Yes.
Y'all ready to play? Okay, good. So the abundance and opulence and joy of the whole universe should be apparent in our lives, right? Because we are part of the universe. We teach one thing here. We teach oneness. This oneness, this fullness of life in all that is, showing up as all that surrounds us, all that we interact with, all that we do, and all that we are. This oneness is what we teach in this teaching. Everything else comes from that oneness. So when you take the idea of wholeness, unity, oneness, and attach it or apply it to money, what do you get? Wholeness, unity, oneness, right? For it is all one thing, and yet we forget. So often we forget. Back several years ago, I did these workshops called Playing a Spiritual Practice, because we currently live in a culture where multitasking, being stressed out and busy, is almost a badge of honor. And the truth is, we take our lives so freaking seriously. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I do, right? I mean, this is the case for most of us. Just last week, I was talking to somebody in the social hall, and they said that I was saying that I was busy, and they said, "Good for you." I didn't know if I felt that was a good thing. So we all need to lighten up a little bit. And I don't know any other topic that is on just about everybody's hit parade than money. We all have all kinds of rules and judgments and beliefs, just about everything. But it's certainly the case for money. The teaser for this talk was so good that I have to share it again. It was shared in the e-news, but money. We love it. We hate it. We fear it. We want it. We're so confused about it. The rules that we have that we accepted as children, as going through lives, the rules that we accepted from other people and the rules that we made up ourselves. Just a few. Where we can allow money to come from, where money cannot come from. Beliefs about money being a status symbol, and only certain people can be rich. Money is evil. Money corrupts. Then there's the whole generational ideas about my family's always been poor. You have to work hard for money. There's never enough. If I have it, then somebody else will suffer. And then there's the ideas of what you can spend money on or what you can't spend money on, how much you're supposed to have in your bank account or in your investments, whether or not you should have investments at all or just stuff it all in your mattress. And the list goes on and on. We've been talking about money all month. And we've uncovered and given light to many of our old ideas and beliefs. Prosperity is not wholly a matter of capital or environment, but a condition brought about by certain ideas that have been allowed to rule in consciousness. Charles Fillmore. Money shows up in our lives in relation to how we feel about it. We are in relation to everything in our lives. So we are in a relationship with our money. Mary Morrissey shared this great story about going to see a talk by Raymond Charles Barker. Now, Raymond Charles Barker was this giant in our movement, and he had a close personal relationship with Ernest Holmes. At the time that Mary went to go see him, he was in his 70s, elegantly dressed, this head full of white hair. And during the talk, he brings out his wallet and he takes out several $100 bills and he displays them for everybody to see. And he says, this is money. And I love money. And he picked up those dollar bills, those $100 bills, and kissed them. Mary was horrified. Just thinking, this guy's not even spiritual. And what he then said was, if you had any ideas of revulsion, if you thought or had judgments about money, money heard you. And why would money show up in your life? Why would money show up where it's not loved, where it's not respected and appreciated? Now, he went on to say, if I had a little boy up here and said, this is my grandson, and I love my grandson, and I proceeded to kiss on him, if you had any difference in the way you thought about money and the way you thought about my grandson, you were taught to not love money. That it's not okay to love money. When I read that the first time, it was like a slap in my face, right? I mean, because what do you think? Similar ideas, right? So when we have all these overwhelming thoughts about money, it's no wonder that we don't think we can have any. Or it's no wonder that if we have any, or we don't appreciate what we have. Money is simply a tool. Edwin Gaines, prosperity teacher, says that she works for God and money works for her. I love that. We exchange money for things that we want and need. We pay for electricity and our utilities. We buy food. We spend it on clothes and furniture and cars and computers and phones and upkeep on cars, computers, and phones and all kinds of other things. Money is a tool. And spending money initiates the law of circulation. Now, the law of circulation is the same law as the law of cause and effect. It is all the creative process, and it is always in play. But when you spend money, it puts money into the world. Did you know when you spend a $1 bill or a $5 bill, it changes hands approximately 110 times in a year? It touches 110 people or more. You spending money simply buying what you would normally buy, groceries, gas, initiates a chain reaction that ends up blessing you. The importance of playing and changing our lives is the recognition that where you are, what you're thinking, is not where you want to be or who you want to be. There's little likelihood that life can become fully functioning with prosperity unless you have a positive and creative attitude towards money. Eric Butterworth. Recognizing our stories, our memories, and our conditioned beliefs about money is the first step, because when we recognize them, we can bring them to the surface, we can heal them, and we can let them go. This teaching is all about changing our thinking and changing our lives so we can let go of those past beliefs of lack and limitation that we and our family have lived. So let's bring it back to oneness. Let's bring it back to center. Let's bring it back to the fullness of life is right here, right where I am. In this unity of all that is, the breath and nature of life itself is everywhere, all the time. It is in this room, it is in our things, it is in our money. It is in all of our experiences of playing with money. Now, I know that some of you say, oh, that's good. I'm so glad you think that. But I still have old beliefs about money. They're embedded in my very DNA. So this then becomes the practice. When you start thinking, when you realize that you're thinking in less than opulent ways, when you realize that you're thinking less than really just what you want to think, you bring it back to that thought, to that focus, to that energy of life itself, flowing in that divine flow of life, in, as, and through all things. And it is in my money, so I claim it in my money. And I've lost my place.
You're right there.
I am. I'm right here. Here I am. So this practice not only helps us regularly, when we use this practice regularly, it not only helps us let go of it and heal those past history, but it also helps open us up to the infinite possibilities of life. When I was appropriately handed this week's topic, playing with money, I automatically started thinking about how do I play with money? How can we play with money? So you can play with or at anything. Playing is an attitude. Playing is a freedom. Playing is joyous and abundance. And truly one of my favorite topics. I might have mentioned that we take life too seriously. Playing is essential to experiencing the joy of life. And playing is a heck of a lot healthier than how we deal with our chaotic, stressful, complicated lives as a general rule. So I had ideas about making paper airplanes with money and paper footballs and origami, but then I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. So how do we play with money? How do we play with money? You spend it. That's what money's there for. It's the tool that we use to exchange for things that we want. But the difference is, in playing with money, you truly do it from the fullness of who you are. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. So let's do that again. Put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath and feel the power, the significance of these words. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is. So when you think that $1 touches 110 lives in a year, everything you give touches and blesses the world. Our investment affirmation is a powerful tool that we can use to recenter and realign ourselves. When you give from this fullness, everything is playing. I went around for a couple of years while trying to realign myself with my own prosperity consciousness, saying this affirmation every time I spent money. It's a beautiful and brilliant tool. Tithing can be playing. Now, I know, we just talked about tithing a couple of weeks ago when Reverend Sonny was here, and we can talk about it again because it's a glorious topic. Tithing can be playing. Tithing is giving back 10% of whatever your income where you're fed spiritually. Now, I come from the Edwin Gaines School of Consciousness on tithing. Yeah, she was here 3 weeks after I walked in the doors for the first time, and she blew my socks off. I didn't grow up with tithing. I didn't understand it. It was a completely new process for me. And if you want to challenge any of your thoughts about money, one word, tithing. Because everything will come up, right? All of it comes up. All of it comes to the surface. And the truth is that energy is stagnating and is holding us back. My passion is spirit. This is my passion. Living and sharing this message with the world. Now I'm going to take a few moments and do a brief commercial on our commitment program. Because we're talking about tithing. We're talking about taking this fullness of who we are and giving back to the place where we're spiritually fed. So our commitment program, if you are fed spiritually here, if you find your balance and find awareness, deeper awareness here, then I'm asking you can you tap into, and it doesn't have to be just here, right? I mean, because I tithe here, but I tithe other places as well. I tithe to individuals, and I tithe to other organizations that feed me spiritually. But if you are fed here, if your spiritual growth is supported at any level from here, then I ask you, can you go to that, tap into that fullness of that we were just talking about, that fullness of who you are, and pledge to support this center in the next year, and continuing to do its great work, and continuing to share this message of love and wisdom with the world. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. We continue to play. Paying it forward is a lovely way to play. It's a lovely way to play anyway, but it's a lovely way to play with money. I was in Bojangles' drive-through not too long ago, and what happened was I was stopped by to get a biscuit on my way into the office, and I got to the window, and the woman said, "The person in front of you has paid for your biscuit." I was like, whoa, how awesome is that? So then she asked me if I wanted to pay for the person behind me. I was like, oh yeah, yes I do. I want to share this love, this joy that I just tapped into, right? Well, their order was a little bit more than mine. I don't care. I'm paying it forward. The selfless act of paying it forward changes the person that gives. It was a brilliant experience, and so it's one of my favorite quotes about money. Y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but I love musicals. I know you do the same, and I know Breezy does as well, but I love musicals. Hello, Dolly. Old movie, fabulous movie. I recommend it highly. But one of my favorite money quotes is this: "Money, pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread around, encouraging young things to grow. Right? So I love this idea so much that I created coupons. And I believe that Pegatha has now gone around and shared them with everybody in the room. These coupons, use them. Let's create a movement in this area, in Asheville, and spread it out. Let's pay it forward. Let's play with our money in paying it forward. So pay for the next person in line. Buy flowers for the office. Leave a generous tip. Buy gift cards from your favorite restaurant or your coffee shop, and then leave them in random places. Put money on the shelves in the grocery store under things. There's all kinds of ways to pay it forward, to play with money in this way. And leave the coupon. Leave the coupon so the next person can pay it forward. It has the investment affirmation on there to remind you of your fullness, but it also asks the next person to pay it forward, to continue the process. I think that is so very cool. So I saved the best for last. Most of us receive our income from our jobs or other ways that we work. Some of you retired folks in the room, you receive it from your retirement investments. But since money is always in circulation, then how about playing with receiving it? Play with the idea that money can come from other sources in other ways. If the world is infinite, and it is, then there's infinite ways that money can come into your life. Open up to the possibility that you find money, that someone tithes to you just because you are you, that you get checks in the mail, that you win the lottery. Breezy just told me today that the Powerball is well over $1 billion. That the stranger on the street just hands you money, that a friend Venmos you just because. Infinite ways to show up and receive money. Because living generously, living this life means living it fully, which means giving and receiving. So I know we live in a digital world, and most of my references today have been about cash. But please know that these principles still apply to all of the digital money world of money. Ernest Holmes says, we should expect so much good that we can conceive of it as being more than we could have time to enjoy. We should feel the presence, appreciate, and give thanks for this good. Playing with money, playing with life, is about being gentle with ourselves, forgiving ourselves when we find that our thoughts aren't where we want them to be, whatever the topic. And then gently and lovingly reminding us of who we are, of the joy of who we are, of the brilliance and fullness of who we are. It is seeing and appreciate the beauty and the abundance that is all around us and that we already possess. Living fully is being in this dynamic flow of life and sharing generously from that joy. Life is abundant already. And we have the opportunity to play. It's worth playing, folks. We have money, let's share it. Let's share it generously. Let's share it joyously. Let's share from the fullness of who we are. Let's play. Thank Thank you.